Hey, we're the News Coo Crew, and we're here to talk about some of the new One Piece content that'll be coming out in Shonen Jump as it releases for this new finale arc, the One Piece arc. And we're going to start off with just a little brief about us and how we got into One Piece, because we've only got one chapter to really talk about, and we don't really got a good gauge of each other's One Piece knowledge. And I feel like going into the ending of such a big, long-running series like this, we should kind of get a good gauge on what each of us are about. Oh, before we get there, I'm Christian, and I'm with my co-host.
My name is Jesse. It's very nice to meet you all.
And we are the News Coo Crew, and this will be our podcast. So, Jesse, how did you first get into One Piece?
It was through Toonami, where, back in the day, Toonami.
Oh, no.
So I have not only incredibly fond memories of Toonami, introduced me to probably everything, but it was a safe space that it was, hey, here's some really cool things that you've probably never seen before, and looking forward every week to seeing new episodes, anything, right? It was Zatch Bell used to play on it. It used to be, of course, One Piece. What else? Bobobo.
Oh, God.
Deep cut.
Deep
cut. And it showed you, interesting things. Some things fizzled, some things continued on, and including One Piece.
Yeah. So, it's funny you said Toonami, because I definitely vibe with that, but I really think the first time I saw it was on that Saturday morning cartoon block for 4Kids. That cursed entity.
Yeah, that's right. We switched, first and foremost, Sanji's cigarettes with a lollipop. That's correct. I remember that. That was a big revelation when I realized that a switch had been made. Yeah, had not realized that. Did not realize that was not 4Kids, a cigarette. Yeah. Yeah.
And we also have the absolutely untouchable 4Kids dub opening. Yayo.
Yep. I was hoping that we could at one point sing that.
I think that would be its own thing at some point.
I think that we should.
If enough people want to hear that, maybe tell us. Maybe tell us you want to hear us do the whole thing. Because maybe I can. Maybe I can without music. I'm not going to do that here, but maybe if you asked for it. Maybe if you asked for it, I could do the whole thing. And not the whole thing, like the beyond the credits, but just the opening.
It plays in my head fairly often.
Oh, absolutely.
Oh, yeah. No, it was a good catch-all. It also reminded me of Digimon. Digimon, Digital Monsters, Digimon are the champions.
Oh, absolutely.
And then it kind of repeated itself, but nothing slapped harder, you see. So.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, I forgot about that.
So, were you So, obviously, you were an anime first person.
Yes.
Did you ever find yourself becoming a manga person instead? Like, when did you make the jump from the anime to the manga?
I always need more. Whenever I got attached to an anime, now you need to understand. Back in the day, there was no Crunchyroll, there was no Funimation. There was, but not easily accessible. This is going back in the days of the wild, wild west of YouTube. There was no premium, there was no YouTube Red. It was YouTube, and some saint had set up a janky webcam, simulcast thing. They recorded episodes and they would throw it on YouTube, and that's how I watched a lot of new things that weren't immediately on air, or if I had to catch up on something, that's where I got all of my anime from. And at one point, I needed more. I like reading. I like the visuals of it. What changed? I used to read the Wikipedias on characters and being like, how did they get to this point? And what changed between the anime adaptation, the manga adaptation. You can have 1,000 different pieces of media, and you'll have 1,000 different ways to interpret these characters. So I really like seeing how they mesh, how they blend. I'm not necessarily I don't want to say a perfectionist, right? It can't always be a one-for-one, right? But I do enjoy, seeing how they adapted it to a screen. A movie, even, how do they adapt these characters to a different form? So at one point, it just turned into the natural conclusion. If I liked something, I'm going to read it. And then that spilled over well past that. So now I find things, I read them through the night, and I catch up, and I'm like, oh, this is great. Oh, it's also animated. Oh, it's only animated up until this part. I'm like, all right, so yeah.
So it sounds like One Piece was this catalyst for you that got you into the manga scene, like, reading all these different manga. And I don't know why, but for some reason, you and I have had almost the same exact experience. Like,
Really?
I watched it on Toonami.
Yes.
I got all the way. It kind of dropped off Toonami for a bit. Like, it was there, but it wasn't.
That was the catalyst. And I can tell you the exact moment they introduced Doflamingo and never had him again. And I was like, who is this character? He's the best character that you could have introduced, and just never touched upon him again. And then much later, I would be like, oh, he's terrible. He's someone you love to hate. That's later content, but that was the moment for me. Doflamingo, obsessed. Who is this character? Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I fell off of One Piece when the anime started to die down in America,
yes.
but I think it was my 7th grade middle school year. And are going into the 8th grade of the summertime. And I just had a week, and I was like, you know what? I've watched a bunch of Naruto, I've watched a bunch of Bleach, and I've watched all these other relevant to 2007, 8-ish time frame animes. And I went, maybe I should try One Piece again. And so I very quickly got caught up with the anime at that moment. And I started reading the manga during the Marineford War.
Ooh, that. In truth, I have read from start to most current Wano. I've read 3 times. Everyone is like, that's impossible. How could you do that? And I'm like, it's easy. It's a fugue state. If you ask me a main character's name, I might forget them. But I have read through it at least 3 times fully, not just specific arcs. And that was a great arc to come in. That is a fantastic arc, because a lot is going on. A lot of factions meet for the first time, and everything is a catalyst after that.
And the biggest thing to me was I'm half lying here. I really came in at Impel Down. But I really kind of see all that together. Like Amazon Lily, Impel Down. That's all kind of blended together for me.
Yeah.
But I came in right around the time they had just freshly brought back my favorite character.
And that is?
Mr. Zero, the one and only Crocodile.
Oh, Crocodile. All right. So I will say, so before Doflamingo, Crocodile, just the whole arc as a whole, also introduced me to Nico Robin, who would probably be one of my favorites. And there's big titular characters, but whenever they reintroduce a character, it's going to be good right off the bat. Yeah.
Because to me, for me at least, I'm sure some other people might see it a little bit differently, or might even see where I'm coming from this. I hope you do too. As I really feel like if you were to take another grandstanding anime, and the other grandstanding anime I can think of is Dragon Ball Z. Who is the here's the first important villain you ever have to face, and that's Frieza. And I really feel like Crocodile was the first Frieza. I think it was Frieza for what it was. Frieza came in and destroyed most of the Z Fighters leftovers who came over to Namek, and just really made fools of them. Vegeta, Piccolo, Krillin.
And it was fun for Frieza.
Oh, yes, it was.
It was fun for Frieza. And for Crocodile, this is the first time that there is an actual sense of danger. And someone, is it the first Logia?
He is the first Logia. No, she's the second Logia, because we met Smoker. And then technically Ace is introduced before Crocodile gets proper screen time, and you learn what he does.
But this is
so
the
he's technically
first
the third
one that we are actively getting pursued or pursuing.
There you go.
We are pursuing. Yep. Excuse me, that's right.
The Smoker is the one pursuing.
Yeah.
Yes.
And this is the first time that we are introduced to the quote unquote big bad. And this is someone that we do not have an effectual way to fight, and we're working our way through the ranks just to get to. almost like the Ginyu Force, I guess. Yeah, and then we have this character on screen who is just smiling at you, leisurely, cat and mouse,
One Piece really heavy-handedly uses the smile as one of its like everything in the show. If there's a smile happening, it's important.
It's important. Yeah. It's very funny that you said smiles are very important, because what is, right, the eventual big bad is who's making smile, who is artificially creating these fruit. And it's very funny that you said that. And also, again, Doflamingo, never a smile, not on his face. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter when. Wow. We had moments, but even when we come back to it, it's worse than ever. And it's important. Again, another character who really lavishes, but who you don't think is defeatable in that moment. Yeah.
That being said, I feel like Luffy's overcoming of Doflamingo was a lot more like in the pocket than Luffy's defeating of Crocodile.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. I'm always here. I am a Crocodile hype man through and through.
Through and through.
Don't worry about it, guys. I am the Crocodile hype man. I will talk so much out of my own butthole about Crocodile for no reason. I love him.
Are we revealing who our favorite big bads are of the One Piece world?
Well, if we're going with big bads, obviously Crocodile is my favorite. But Crocodile is just my favorite like anime character.
That's
straight.
true.
Like you could take me to any other multiverse of anime stuff and it's still Crocodile. I think Crocodile, everything about Crocodile entices me as a interested
everything
individual.
In the character component. Okay. All right. That's fair.
But if you want to talk about big bads, I feel like you're going to talk about Doflamingo.
I want to actually talk about my favorite, who is Buggy.
Oh my God. I can't believe you called Buggy a big bad. I can't believe you called him that.
It's why? It's because he has a bit that he commits to. It is the first threat that we are thrown at. And he is, and I know I've said this before, but I'll say it recording, is that he would, at the end of the day, rather stick to the bit than win the battle. And I respect that of any villain. I respect that. He's willing to cut himself to pieces just to get the bit.
I see what you did there. And he falls into little bits.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Buggy is fantastic.
Big
and
Buggy fan.
We'll talk a little bit about Buggy in the actual first episode because it's important.
Oh, he important.
It's important.
Oh, he important now. Yeah. Brought him back.
So I think I got a good gauge on what the answer to what the answer you'll give for this question is going to be, because I think we're going to have the same answer.
Okay.
What's your favorite arc?
Thriller Bark.
Oh, no, we did
I'm
talk
so
about this
sorry.
already. No, we did talk
Yes.
about this already, and I think you're right. I was going to say Dressrosa because I absolutely adore Dressrosa.
I did really like Dressrosa. I will say the composition of Dressrosa, I feel like it had a really good start, and it was the rising action, the climax, and then the falling action. I think that it hit structurally really everything that I'm looking for. But Thriller Bark, I think it was just because it was almost like a slowdown. There was always this present. We are in someone else's territory. There is Gecko, Mora. How do we defeat him? We have these zombies chasing after us. We have there is present danger, but it pushed us all to what we thought would be their limits, and then all of a sudden it's like that's not good enough, and you have to push past that. And everyone was tested. And then we have Kuma, and this is, we've also, again, off recording, we have spoken of Kuma, but yeah.
Yeah, we are Shichibukai fanboys, certainly.
I think
certainly.
so.
I think that they're the
obvious.
coolest thing. They're so cool.
It's obvious. Yeah.
Everyone except Weevil.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's fair.
Yeah. Well, do you have any other questions about
Ooh, okay.
our upbringing into One Piece?
Let's see. Did you? I mean, this is a simple one, but think of your kid self. What was the devil fruit that you either always wanted or that you would create for yourself? And I don't know if we had this discussion or if we fully fledged this out.
So I've always been more interested in the non-Devil Fruit powers of One Piece.
Okay.
But if I had to pick, and if I'm being honest, I've always really liked Buggys Fruit.
Yeah.
I think Buggys Fruit's really cool.
I
it's
think
like
so
utility. Like, there's so much utility in Buggys
Yes.
Fruit. You're basically immune to most types of damage.
Yeah.
You can go
And
anywhere
if you're not,
you want.
you can make yourself immune to it.
Yeah.
If something's coming at you, you cut yourself literally into pieces until it passes through, and then reform yourself. And you have full control over that. You can essentially fly, and it depends on really how you use it. It is very utilitarian. That's interesting. That's really interesting in a world of these devil fruit powers that you're interested in, because it's equal, I think, power scaling for those that don't have devil fruits. So I think that's really interesting that's what you hone in on, because we were introduced to it fairly early on. We just didn't know what it was yet.
Yeah.
And that was, I think, right, the big question is, are these just, people who are so skilled that they can hold their own against devil fruit users, or is there something more behind the scene? And then eventually we get that fledged out.
Yeah. I will say, from the get-go, as you've learned in the last week, why wouldn't I want a devil fruit? Real simple. It was something we knew about them from day one.
From day one.
Can't swim.
Can't go to the sea.
I love the sea.
Yep.
I love being in the water. I love being on the water. I love being around and about.
Yep.
I love to be with water.
Yep.
And
It'd
to
be very difficult.
completely remove me from water feels not cool. I don't like that.
Yep. Yeah, I agree. And we've been introduced to so many powerful characters that, I mean, their whole thing is literally just power through and swimming through, the seas to catch up. And we've seen as jokes, people flung from the ship overhauled, right? And they're useless in the water.
Absolutely. They're just
and
chum in the water.
They're chum in the water, and they have to rely on someone else to be rescued. So it is a huge caveat, and especially when we are all on the seas. And I think that is a very important distinction of devil fruits are presented to you, right? Forbidden fruit, as this, you cannot be more powerful than having a devil fruit, and yet we can overcome. Yeah.
So then we'll turn that question back over on you now.
Yes.
What is the devil fruit you envisioned or you wanted?
So I'm too indecisive, always. And some form of, copying is what I always wanted. I wanted to be able to copy other devil fruits. And it's like a big no, right? Because all devil fruits are in their own unique and their power. And, eventually we see this kind of transformation. So it's like, how do you surpass what you're given? Because we still haven't seen, certain devil fruits, or if they can even be almost like upgraded, right? But that's what I always kind of wanted. I wanted a taste of each fruit. I wasn't sure which one I really wanted or which one fit, Yeah.
That seems pretty cool.
Yeah.
That feels like something that would fall under like a mythical Zoan category.
Yeah.
Like you'd find some sort of like mythical beast known for like having many faces.
Maybe like Chimera or something.
Like what?
Chimerical, right? Something.
That'd be cool.
Yeah. Or something where it's like, can take from each one and as like a composite.
You know what power you're talking about? Wapples.
Oh, yeah.
Not really.
But it's eating, I guess, right?
And he does take he takes the aspects of whatever he eats. So in theory, if he ate another devil fruit user,
could he? Yeah.
Because he was able to eat. Weren't Chess and Marimo also devil fruit users?
I would have to look that up.
Yeah, I don't remember really because they were weird. But he combined the two of them together.
Yeah.
And that was something he could do. So obviously he has some form of control over organic matter in the form of his devil fruit. I mean, we show that that's a thing we can do because Law literally makes centaurs.
Yeah. Yeah.
And not the Frankie centaur.
Not the Frankie centaur.
The best centaur.
Of course. Yes. Yeah. The upgraded version.
Oh, man. All right. Well, any other questions?
Nothing that comes to mind immediately.
All right, then. Well, I think we'll get into it then. This has been our first little get to know us News Coo Crew podcast. And we thank you for joining us. Tune in next time for our reactions, reviews, and just general discussions about chapter 1054, the first chapter in the final arc of One Piece.